Welcome back to AFT Dice Season 10 for Round 7, Wednesday the 27th of August 2025. Following Round 6, where Hawthorn's 15-point upset over Melbourne and Geelong 44-point thrashing over Richmond flipped the ladder, the Dice are primed to unleash more unpredictability. With Collingwood and Adelaide Crows leading the charge for the Premiership trophy, and teams like Sydney and GWS battling to escape the bottom, this round promises 9 gripping matchups across iconic venues like the MCG, Adelaide Oval, and Giants Stadium. As coaches finalise strategies and Dice hold sway, round 7 is posed to redefine the season's narratives. Let the chaos roll begin. All right, let's get stuck into it. It's the first game for round 7, Port Adelaide versus West Coast at Adelaide Oval. Let's get stuck into it. Now, if West Coast win, they jump into the 8 for now. And Port Adelaide, they are just above them. First quarter has completed, and West Coast, Port Adelaide are 3-4, 22, West Coast 3-6, 24. Let's get stuck into the second quarter for this match. Port Adelaide versus West Coast Eagles at Adelaide Oval. Second quarter nearly completed. Siren has gone for half time, and it is very close. Half time siren. West Coast kick 3 goals, 3 to Port Adelaide, 3-2. So West Coast are 6-9, 45 to Port Adelaide, 6-6, 42. So it's 3 points the difference. Two bottom sides, Port Adelaide 14th, West Coast 15th. Siren has gone for three-quarter time, and West Coast have kicked 3 goals, 2 to Port Adelaide, 2-4. And it is 7 points the difference to West Coast. They are 9-11, 65 to Port Adelaide, 8-10, 58. Let's get stuck into the last quarter to see who wins. Final siren has gone, and West Coast have held on by 5 points. They kicked 3 goals, 5 to Port Adelaide, 4-1. And the final score is Port Adelaide 12-11, 83 to West Coast 12-16, 88. So West Coast jump inside the 8 for now with that draw. So they're on 14 points in 6th position. Port Adelaide's in 15th. All right, let's get into the next game. It's Giants versus Carlton at Giants Stadium. Giants are second last. Carlton are just inside the 8. First quarter's completed, and the Giants are 1 point in front. They kick 5 goals, 2 to 5-1 for the Blues. Second quarter underway. Siren has gone for half time, and Carlton have kicked 4 goals, 3 to the Giants, 3 goals, 6. And at half time, Giants are down by 2 points, 56 to 58. Let's get stuck into the second half of this match. This is probably going to go down to the wire as well. Last game at half time, West Coast were in front by 3 points. Third quarter siren has gone, and the Giants have kicked 4 goals, 3 to Carlton, 2 goals, 1. And at three-quarter time, we've got the Giants winning by 12 points, 83 to 71. Okay, let's start the last quarter for this match. Can the Giants get 2 wins for the season? And the final score, Giants have won by 38 points. They kicked 6 goals, 2 in that last quarter to Carlton, 1-6. So the Giants' final score, 18-13, 121 to Carlton, 12-11, 83. So the Giants, they add another win to their season. So they're on 2 wins. Carlton are on 3. Let's get stuck into the third game. Hawthorn versus North Melbourne at Marvel Stadium. Both teams are outside the 8. First quarter's completed. Hawthorn, they've kicked 3 goals, 3 to North Melbourne, 3-2. Second quarter underway. Both teams are on 3 wins. They're looking for their 4th. Siren's gone for second quarter. Halftime has come to Hawthorn kicking 4 goals, 2 to North Melbourne, 3-2. So Hawthorn are 47 to North Melbourne 40. Let's start the third quarter of this match. Third quarter siren has gone, and we've got North Melbourne kicking 3 goals, 6 to Hawthorn 1-4. And North Melbourne at three-quarter time are 7 points up, 64 to Hawthorn 57. Let's go to the last quarter to see who will win this match. Both teams, as I said, are on 3 wins. Final siren has gone, and North Melbourne have beaten Hawthorn by 13 points. They kicked 6 goals, 5 to Hawthorn, 5-5 in that last quarter. Final score, Hawthorn 13-14, 92 to North Melbourne 15-15, 105. Let's get started on the next game. It's Gold Coast versus Melbourne. The first quarter siren has gone, and Melbourne are 5, kicked 5-2 to the Gold Coast Suns, 4 goals, 6. 2 points the difference. Melbourne's way. Melbourne are 3rd on the ladder with Gold Coast in 10th. Siren has gone for half time, and the Gold Coast Suns have kicked 6 goals, 3 to Melbourne, 2 goals, 1. And at half time, Gold Coast are leading by 24 points, 69 to 45. Third quarter underway. Third quarter siren has gone, and the Gold Coast Suns have kicked 6 goals, 6 after half time to Melbourne, 3 goals, 6. And Gold Coast, they have got a handy lead of 42 points, 111 to 69. Last quarter underway. And the final siren has gone, and Gold Coast have won by 42 points. Gold Coast, 22 goals, 20, 152 to Melbourne, 16-14, 110. So that puts Gold Coast in 3rd spot, which they've taken Melbourne's spot on the in the top 4. Okay, let's get stuck into the next game. It is Collingwood versus Richmond. So it is 1st versus 18th. So first quarter has started and completed. Richmond have kicked 6 goals, 3 to Collingwood, 2-2. So Richmond could be an upset here. They're leading by 25 points at the first break. The siren has gone for the second quarter. Halftime has come, and Richmond have kicked 6 goals, 4 to Collingwood, 2-1. And at halftime, Richmond are leading by 52 points, 79 to 27. Can the Magpies kick back after half time? Okay, after half time, Collingwood have kicked 6 goals, 2, but Richmond have kicked 5 goals, 5, and lead by 49 points, 114 to 65. Let's go the last quarter. Collingwood won the third quarter. And they've won the last quarter, and the final siren's gone, and Richmond have won by 45 points. Final score 18-18, 126. to Collingwood 12-9-81. So that was an absolute upset. That has Collingwood have lost their second game of the season, and they could well lose their top spot. All right, let's get stuck into the next game. It is Geelong Cats versus Essendon at GMHBA Stadium. So we've got both, Geelong's just outside the 8, and we've got Essendon in 5th. First quarter's done, and Geelong have kicked 4 goals, 1 to Essendon, 1, 2. 17 points the difference to Geelong Cats. The first break. Siren has gone for the second quarter. It's half time, and the Cats lead by 20 points, 43-23. Second half underway in this match. Match of the round for round 8 at the moment is Adelaide versus the Suns at Adelaide Oval. So it is going to be an absolute ripper. Geelong, after half time, have kicked 4 goals forward at Essendon 4-3, and it is 21 points the difference to the Cats, 71-50. We've got Sydney on the bottom. They've got the worst percentage of 69.33. Final siren has gone, and Geelong have just scraped through with a 1-point victory over Essendon. The Cats' final score 11-14-80 to Essendon 11-13-79. All right, let's get stuck into the next game. It is Sydney versus Western Bulldogs. So we've got the Western Bulldogs in 10th, Sydney in 18th. First quarter has completed, and the Sydney Swans have kicked 3 goals, 1 to Western Bulldogs, 2-1. So the Sydney Swans are up by 6 points. They're looking for their second win for the season. Geelong, after that win against Essendon, are in second spot. Siren has gone for half time, and the Sydney Swans have kicked 6 goals, 1 in that second quarter to the Western Bulldogs 3-2. And the Sydney Swans are up by 23 points, 56-33. Third quarter has started. Siren has gone for the third quarter, and the Western Bulldogs have kicked 2 goals, 1 to Sydney, 1-5. And at three-quarter time, Sydney are up by 21 points. Let's go to the last quarter of this match. Final siren has gone, and Sydney have won by 20 points. They kicked 4 goals, 2 to Western Bulldogs, 4-3 in that last quarter. So the Bulldogs win by 1 point in that last quarter. But the final score, Sydney 14-9-93 to Western Bulldogs, 11-7-73. So that puts Richmond back on the bottom of the ladder. So there's been 2 upsets this round. Sydney beating the Western Bulldogs, and Richmond beating Collingwood by 45 points. All right, let's get stuck in the second last game of the round. It is Brisbane Lions versus St Kilda at the Gabba. It is 5th versus 11th. Brisbane win today, and that puts them pretty much on top of the ladder. And then we've got Adelaide to come in the last game. So the first quarter has completed, and Brisbane have kicked 6 goals, 1 to St Kilda, 1-2. So Brisbane at the moment are 29 points up, 37-8. Second quarter underway. Second quarter, siren has gone, and St Kilda have kicked 5 goals, 6 to Brisbane, 1 goal, 6. And at half time, Brisbane are up by 5 points. So St Kilda came back in that second quarter. Half time, Brisbane up by 5 points, 49-44. Third quarter underway in this match. And The third quarter, very even. Brisbane have won it by 1 point. They kicked 5 goals, 6 to St Kilda, 5 goals, 5. And at three-quarter time, Brisbane are up by 6 points, 85 to 79. Last quarter underway in this match. Who is going to win this match? Siren has gone and St Kilda have won by 4 points in a thriller. They kicked 5 goals, 5 to St Kilda. Sorry, to Brisbane, 4 goals, 1. Final scores, Brisbane 16-14, 110 to St Kilda 16-18, 114. So that puts Brisbane in 5th spot. St Kilda are in the 8th. And let's get the last game underway. Adelaide win. They go on top of the ladder against Fremantle. So first quarter has completed. Adelaide have kicked 5 goals, 4 to Fremantle, 5 goals, 1. 3 points the difference to Adelaide. So Adelaide versus Fremantle at Adelaide Oval. Adelaide win. They go on top. Fremantle win. They are just outside the 8. Second quarter siren has gone for half time, and Adelaide have kicked 5 goals, 1 to Fremantle 1-5. And at half time, Adelaide are up by 23 points, 65 to 47. Third quarter underway in this match. And Fremantle in that second quarter after half time have kicked 6 goals, 6 to Adelaide 3-2. And that puts Adelaide just in front at three-quarter time by 1 point, 85 to 84. Who is going to win this match? Will it be Adelaide? They'll go on top, or is it Fremantle? Final siren has gone, and Adelaide have won this match by 16 points. They kicked 4 goals, 2 to Fremantle 1-5 in the last quarter. And Adelaide final score 17-9, 111 to Fremantle 13-17, 95. So that puts Adelaide on top of the ladder with 5 wins, 2 losses. Richmond down the bottom of the ladder. So we've got number 1 offense team is Adelaide. The number 1 defense team is Essendon. And the biggest winning streak is Adelaide by 2, with Geelong and North Melbourne on 2. So all the teams that were on 3 winning streak last round have all lost. All right, so we've got match of the round for round 8 is Adelaide versus the Gold Coast Suns. So it is 1st versus 4th on the ladder, and that will be round 8, Friday the 29th of August 2025. Well, this has been exciting. 2 upsets, Richmond beating Collingwood by 45 points and Sydney beating the Western Bulldogs by 20 points. We'll see you next time for round 8 on Friday the 29th of August 2025.